All right, we made it back to our camping spot. Today I'm going to show you how to start a fire with flint and steel. And once I get that fire going, I'm going to cook a meal, have some coffee, have some soup, and just have a good meal. Just some food that I had at home. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that you can cook food on top of an open fire. And you can do it pretty easily as long as you get your fire started. So I guess first things first is gonna be getting our fire going. Then we'll move on to making some coffee. I brought some eggs and I brought some curry soup. So I'm super excited to eat. I'm hungry, so yeah, let's get the wood going for the fire. All right, so today I'm going to be demonstrating how to start a fire with a flint and steel. It's like a more traditional way to start a fire. I mean, this is a ferro rod and a piece of iron. That's a lot different than a proper flint and steel, but it's essentially the same concept. What we're going to do is we're going to try and get some of this magnesium spread out onto a little bit of bark, and then we're going to strike our ferro rod with hopes that we can ignite a little flame. And once we do so, we'll be able to add a bunch of smaller stuff on and gradually build our fire. And once we have our fire nicely built, we'll have no problems cooking on it. So this is how it's going to start off. It's rainy, sleet the last couple days. I do have a little bit of charcoal here, and the charcoal is such a great tool to use. This one spark, it'll light in no problem. I'll do that. I wanted to use a little bit of bark as well, just to show you how it works. So I'll start off just on the piece of bark, and then I'll show you how it works on a piece of coal. So I'm going to just rub off tiny little shards of magnesium onto this piece of bark. You want nice, long, firm strokes, but not too fast because you don't want to create a spark. The second you create a spark, all that magnesium is going to burn up real quick. So as you can see, there's all these little metal shards. All those shards are magnesium from the ferro rod, and those sparks are what are going to ignite. So I'll give it a shot with just this, nothing else on it, so you can see how it works. You see that? You see how it went? All those little sparks that shot up were because of the magnesium from the ferro rod. So that is such a crucial part in starting a fire. You're gonna need a bunch of magnesium in there. So just to have a chance to have a flame. You know, once you have that spark going and you have a bunch of dry stuff, it should catch like no problem. Every now and then you're stuck in situations like this where it's a little bit wet, it's a little bit moist. And luckily for me, I kind of prepared and I have some charcoal here with me. So I'm gonna use the charcoal and I'm gonna get this fire going real quick here. And there we have it. Essentially all I did is I got a charcoal started. I give it a little bit of breath, which pushed oxygen to the charcoal, which caused it to ignite. It got hot enough that I could sprinkle some dry bark on it, and that dry bark lit up pretty quick, as you saw. I don't want to lose this thing, so I'm going to keep feeding it tons of small pieces and gradually increasing the size of the dry stuff that I place on. Now that we got something going, we're gonna start adding small little pieces of wood that'll just act like mini logs, you know? Eventually we'll be able to grow into like full-size logs, but you gotta start off slow. If you go too hard, you're gonna choke it out. It's very crucial to get your fire going as quickly as possible when it's winter, because you can freeze. And there you have it. Fire started with nothing but a flint and steel. And in my situation, I had some charcoal available, so that made it so much easier for me. Had I been in a situation that I had no charcoal, I would have had to take a lot of small stuff, typically the driest bark you can find, and crumble it into a little pile in your hand, and that would be your start. It's a little bit tougher, but it is doable. You just gotta be persistent and you gotta practice a bunch. I didn't just learn how to do this in one go. I've been using a flint and steel for about 2 years now, but slowly, the more I practice, the better I'm getting at it. So that's all it takes, is a little bit of practice. It might take you a few moments to figure out how to even strike it at first, but once you get it down, you're golden. But anyways, we're gonna keep feeding this fire until I can start cooking, because I'm getting hungry. So we got our fire going now, but we only have a ton of small stuff. Before I left last time, I brought a couple logs this way. So I'm gonna be processing these to make longer, larger logs. That way I have something to cook on. Nice. We got one piece of wood. Didn't take too long, eh? Whew. Okay. 2 pieces. Great. Now we just put those on the fire. Get some of this top stuff that broke. It's quite punky, which is another word for rotten. Yeah, this wood has got no structural soundness to it left. It's almost perfect though. So it will burn, but it burns quite quick. It's like foam, you know, there's nothing to it. Once that picks up a little bit, I'll be able to get my pot going with some coffee, and then I'll get some eggs and some soup cooked up. I'm excited. All right, so we got our fire going enough. I think it's time to start a pot of coffee because I am thirsty. In this situation, I brought my own cup and I brought my own jug of water. I'm 2 seconds from home. I can see my house from here, but it is winter, so if I was in a pinch, I could always grab some snow and boil that to purify it, and then I'd be able to use that as my potable water. But I came prepared. I'm gonna measure out how much water I want for my coffee, get it in the pot, start boiling it, get my coffee going, and then we're gonna start making some food. Here we go. I'm gonna get my pan on the fire with my water. Pop the water on just like that. It's the reason why I put these 2 logs here, is to ensure that my pot can sit somewhere level and not fall in. Now, I've never actually made coffee like this before, but I've seen Greg Ovens do it a ton. So he says you put your coffee on, and when all the coffee grounds sink, that's when you know your coffee's ready. So we're gonna try it out. It's too hot to stir, and it's too smoky to see. And I do have leather gloves with me so that I can get into the fire without burning myself. I'm gonna bring my cup close to the fire. That way it doesn't shatter when I put hot liquid in because it's so cold out. So I'm just gonna bring it a little closer so it can warm up a touch. All right, it's time to get that coffee in my cup. So I'm gonna place it right here, grab my pot. Oh yeah. That smells so good. Got the majority of the coffee grounds right here. Gonna throw that away. Got a cup of coffee now. So I'm just gonna place this on my bed, and I'm gonna go clean this quickly. So in the winter, cleaning your stuff is also quite simple. You know, you just do a little bit of snow, good to go. I think it's time to cook a few eggs. I also brought some toast. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do this, but I wanna toast it. So I got my toast going here. I don't think this is a super ideal setup, but it should do what I need it to for now. Realistically, if I could, I'd have 2 pieces of wood running parallel across the top of the fire, about 2 to 4 feet above, depending on how hot that flame is, so that I could just toast my toast, suspend it in the air without having to worry about it falling and burning like I might in this situation. I didn't bring any lard or butter or oil, so I'm gonna start off with my soup because I know there's some chicken fat in here. So once the soup is cooked, hopefully I'll have enough fat on the pan to cook my eggs properly without them sticking too much. But you know, it's the first time for me, so we'll see how it goes. Well, slight issue. I forgot my bowl and spoon. So I'm gonna have to put it back in the jar that I brought it out in. But yeah, here we have a coconut curry soup with some shrimp and a little bit of chicken broth. This is super exciting. I'm so excited to eat this. Oh, it smells amazing. Hopefully this works out right for me. There we are. Eggs on. We are hopefully going to make an egg sandwich here. Now this coffee is quite nice. It is quite strong, but it is quite tasty. We got our eggs cooked. It's pretty sweet. Now we're just gonna get our toast prepped, and then we're gonna make our Sammy. We'll eat, and then we'll be good to go. Nice. nice and dirty. I'm gonna put a little bit of snow in here and let it cook up just to get all that stuff loose. It's time for me to eat. I'm gonna start with some soup, because I was looking forward to this soup. Oh, unbelievable. It is so hot. Oh my goodness. You really got to take your time drinking these, because holy, that is ripping hot. No, really good. Man, this is so good. Unbelievable. One more round of snow to get the rest of that stuff off the pan. And in the meantime, I'm gonna keep drinking my coffee. Now the point of doing all this is, well, it's for fun, but it's also to show you something new and hopefully learn something from this. Although I only taught you one basic skill and it was very briefly gone over, it's quite the experience being able to come outside, start a fire with next to nothing, cook a meal on the fire. Even though all the food was prepared and everything, it's still so fun. I definitely love doing this. I've never really done too much bushcraft survival stuff, but I've been getting into it quite a bit this year. And this is probably like my 5th or 6th time out in the woods. I mean, I built this shack maybe about a month ago, and I've come out at least once a week to just to come in, to build a little bit more, or just to sit around and have a fire, or to have a cup of tea. I'll come out here just to cook something because I can, you know? And that's what I love about it. Yeah, it's amazing, you know? Like, I get to come out here in my yard, not even a 3-minute walk, and just enjoy the wilderness like if no one was around, you know? So if this is ever anything that you thought about doing, I highly recommend you just get outside, try a few things. You know, there's a lot of great tutorials online. Like, how do you think I learned how to flint and steel for the first time? I didn't just pick it up and do it, you know? I had to watch a few tutorials. Of course, this is just a small, maybe 2-3 hour thing that I'm doing at home, but I really do believe that with more practice, getting better at the basics, so that one day I can go out into the wilderness and do this all on my own. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for, well, for everything, really. I'm Frankie, and this has been my first attempt at bushcrafting, surviving in the wild. We'll see you next time.